Number 15, the Crescent in Clontarf, Pat, the birthplace of Bram Stoker. What do we know about his early years?
Well, he was one of 7 children, but he spent the first 7 years of his life bedridden with some mysterious illness. He's never told us what it was. And his mother, who was raised in the west of Ireland, she witnessed at first hand the terrible cholera epidemic. And she told him all these horror stories of people being buried alive even, because when you had cholera, just get rid of the body as quickly as possible.
So he's up in a room, perhaps up there, looking out at the sea in the parkland area, and these stories, they're fueling his young imagination.
Oh, he's admitted this himself, that those first 7 years gave him all the ammunition, if you like. It was the incubation period of his imagination, essentially.
So I guess Bram Stoker is educated at home as a child, and then as a student he comes here to Trinity College.
He does. As a teenager, he comes in here for 6 years. And guess what? He doesn't come in here to study literature, he comes in to study mathematics and does very well at it. But while he's here, he also engages himself into all the societies here. He became auditor of the Historical Society, he became president of the Philosophical Society, and he was an outstanding athlete. Consider that he was weak as a child, he was a giant of a man, well over 6 foot tall, and he was an outstanding athlete.
And do we get any sense of his time here that he had an interest in writing?
Oh, we do. As a member of the various societies and his love for literature, he started to blossom as a writer, as a published writer. Now, not books, but just various small, short treatises. So his publishing career, if you like, started here in Trinity College.
So after Trinity, life as a civil servant in Dublin Castle beckons.
It surely does, and he worked here in Dublin Castle for about 12 years, doing a fairly humdrum job as a civil servant, managing, being an inspector, in fact, of the registrar of the petty sessions, which are the junior courts in Ireland. He even wrote a book, his bestseller at the time, which was The Duties of the Clerks of the Petty Sessions in Ireland. He afterwards said it was as dry as dust. When he was working here in the castle, of course, there are his offices.
But he is working as a theatre critic as well during this period.
Now, at the same time he was holding down this job, he had enough flexibility to be a theatre critic in the Evening Mail, just across the road from here, and he was also a night editor.
And Bram Stoker himself, he walked up this aisle in St Anne's Church in Dawson Street when he was married.
That's right, he married the beautiful Florence Balcombe. Really only a teenager in a sense. She was an aspiring actress, a beautiful girl, who was also chased by Oscar Wilde. And but Bram was the winner in this case, and they walked up this aisle in December 1878, and a mere 5 days later, they departed by ship for London. The two of them to start a whole new career. Bram was 31 years of age, and he was going off to London to be the manager of the Lyceum Theatre.
And did he say goodbye to Dublin for forever in that move?
He did. He didn't come back to visit Dublin at all. He went to America, he travelled all over England, but Dublin just remained in his writer's imagination.
And in London, he builds a career as a theatre manager.
Yes, he works for Sir Henry Irving, the owner of the Lyceum Theatre. And he works at this job as both manager and personal secretary to Sir Henry for basically the rest of his life. But somehow he managed to fit in writing 18 books, including the most famous one, Dracula. And Dracula has since, if you like, stayed in print since it was published in 1897. And 1,000 other books have been based on Dracula, no less than 200 films.